Now, the sculpt settings are very simple, and it's what I use to make all of these presets. It's pretty powerful, you'll see. You can either start with, there are some base shapes that come with the NS Rock Builder, Rock Sculptor blend file, but for now, we can just drop in a cube, and I will explain the sculpt as best I can. So we'll come back to them. So number of cuts makes sense. So these are, imagine if you'd got the knife and bisected and just kept slicing all over the place to make your rock shape, because obviously rocks and boulders, they do have straight edges. You can't just put a displace modifier on a cube and expect to get a rock. You've got to cut this, and cutting it takes time. So I've automated it. So number of cuts is 3. So 3 cuts. This is the bit that will take a little explanation. So you've got min offset and max offset. And what this means is 0.5 is 0.5 of the distance between the center of the object, in this case it's a cube, and the end. So all this here is half. So if I go 0.5, I'm going halfway towards half of the cube, half of the object. You know what I mean, the center of mass. So even if you set minimum offset to 0, that is halfway. So 0.5 is literally quarter. So I'm allowing this to cut, the deepest cut will be a quarter. The max offset is how close to the edge will cuts be as well. So if they go straight through 0.5, they could go like that, I guess, which means this cut is roughly 0.9 away from the outside. So you can think of it as a color ramp. If you bring them closer together, the cuts are going to stay very close together. So as an example, if I put 0.3 and leave the max offset at 0.5 and just do one cut, if you press Sculpt, this one, Sculpt Rock, it's going to make one cut, which we can't see, and it automatically applies the NS Rock Sculptor. But if we go around the back, that's one cut, and as you can see, that's a large cut because I've allowed it to go very close to the center. Now, if I like that, I don't, but if I did, I'd now want to just make smaller cuts and just maybe chip off the edges a bit and whatnot. So to do that, I'm going to have to up the min offset. So as I say before, I'd got it 0.5, which is about here. That's a quarter of the whole cube at 0.5 from the distance, from the center. So if I jump that up to 0.7, I didn't. There we go, 0.7. So now it's about here. It shouldn't cut closer to the center than about here. And again, because I'm leaving this at 0.95, I'm just going to put that at 0.9. That's cutting up to about here. So I've done one cut. I'm going to put in another 7 cuts, little shavies, Sculpt, and there you go. So now it's much closer to a boulder. We've just made a bunch of smaller shaves, little cuts like that, and that has given it a much better boulder shape. All right, the seed is at -1, which is random, so you don't really need to change that. So yeah, if you think I like it, but it's a rock, let me look at it from a different angle, just press random rotation, and it'll just, until you get an angle you're happy with and you want to work with, you can just rotate it. I like that. You can rotate it around. Make single is very important if you're making your own, because if I'd done all my edits through here on this, and then let's say I just duplicate that, and I just want to sculpt that a little bit more, so I'm just going to click on that, and this applies to whatever is the active object. It will still work on this one, but the material is not connected. Well, actually it is, because it's both using the same one, but anyway, so let's just sculpt that a little bit more to make it a bit different. There we go, just shaved off a bit more of the edges. All right, so if I wanted to make changes to this one, it's going to affect both. Both will take these changes. There we go, blue. That's a horrible coloured boulder. So's green. So it's going to affect both. And if I was going to make a completely different rock, I don't want it affecting both. So all you got to do is press make single. like, and if you'll see here, Nick Rock Sculptor, no, NS Rock Sculptor, in the material properties, they're both using the same one. If I click make single on this, doink, that makes it its own material. So now I can edit this one. I'm doing the wrong one because this one, I see, I've confused myself. This one's still connected to the Rock Sculptor. So if I want to edit this one, which is now 0.01, I'm going to go there and do that. And now, if I change this material, it's only going to affect that one. You see? Important note, we're not going to get to it when we get there. If you add a displace modifier, you want to do that before you click make single, because then it won't make the modifier single as well. So then you'll find that if you make another rock and start editing what you think is a brand new displace modifier, it's not. It's the same one, and you've just completely buggered up the first one you did. So be aware of that. But that is the sculpt setting. Oh, no, it isn't. Last thing. All right, this is why I'm timestamping this. So this here, use weight mask. If I like a certain area of the rock, let me just change that color. I don't know why, but that's horrible to look at. That's better. Yeah, so let's pretend I like this back face. I like this and this and this. So what I'm going to do is, in edit mode, I'm going to go to, that's my quick menu, just weight paint. Head over to weight paint. And the area that I want not to be cut, I'm going to paint with full weight. And I'm telling the sculptor, don't cut this. Don't cut this at all, son. So yeah, I'm just hoping that, well, not hoping, I've programmed it so it wouldn't. It should leave this side of the rock alone. So if I put 7 cuts, we'll leave it at 0.7. The first time it should leave this. Doink, and it did. So it's just made cuts to the back now. And it left what we wanted. Left that alone. Once you've sculpted it again, if again you want to keep different bits, you're going to have to go back in and weight paint more, because it's going to lose that mask. The weight paint every time you sculpt again. So that is how you use the weight mask, weight threshold, just how close and how contrasty. I've never touched that. I leave that where it is. That is sculpt settings done.